Hey guys, Jason here. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm kicking off the September, October Halloween horror book, whatever you want to call it. That's what I'm doing. I'm reading nothing but horror for September and October. And so the first book that I finished during this time was The Troop by Nick Cutter. Man, I'd heard a lot about this book. It's been on my TBR for a while. It came out in 2014, so it's not terribly old. But yeah, holy crap, this was great. I loved this book. I could not put it down. Couldn't put it down. Nick Cutter does a spectacular job at peppering you with little tiny bits of information and foreshadowing that makes you want to know more. At the end of each chapter or whatever, he'll like leave it at a thing. Whatever his last line, it's just meant to make you want to read the next chapter. He does it great. And I read this book in 3 days. I read over half of it in one sitting. The first day, I was like my day off, and I just sat and read. I wasn't planning on doing that, but I read like 180 pages in one day. So yeah, it just grabs you and just pulls you along, and I didn't want to stop. His writing style is really very concise, and I forgot that I was reading a number of times. I was just like in the story so immersed in it. So that was really good. And then the way that he tells the story is really interesting too. It was like Carrie kind of, and he actually says that in the afterword that he was inspired by Carrie, but immediately it was like the first 20 pages of the book, I was like, this reminds me of Carrie. And so, yeah, the way that it's like a chapter, and then he'll have like a newspaper article, and then he'll have like 2 or 3 chapters, and then he'll have like an interview with somebody, and then he'll have, so it's like, the story interspersed with these like newspaper things. And that's really interesting because like there's things in those little clippings and whatever that it adds like dramatic irony, because we know information about what happens that obviously the main characters on the island don't know. And so that's another way that it worked very well to keep interest in the story and wanting to know what happens next and all of that. So Nick Cutter, good job. Very good job. Now what is it about? This story is about a Boy Scout troop in Canada and their scout master or whatever. It's five boys. There's Kent, there's Shelley, there's Ephraim, there's Max, and there's Newton. The five boys. And then their scoutmaster's name is Tim. And so yeah, what they're doing is they're out on this island. It's a very secluded island. There's just a little cabin, and they're doing like a little weekend camping trip. They do it every year. And the kids are like 14 years old. So they're young boys, but they're just starting to become men, I guess. Some of them they're at various stages. Like Kent is the big one, who's like a football player and stuff. And then like Ephraim is like he's got a bad temper, so he gets in fights all the time. And then Newt is like the fat, nerdy one that they all pick on and stuff. Sort of in a like friendly way, but yeah, it's a thing. Anyway, so yeah, it's a story about these kids. And what happens is on the first night on this island with their little camping trip, a man shows up. He came on a boat, and he is sick. He is very obviously sick. And they don't know what he's sick with or whatever. So the scoutmaster, he's a doctor. That's his regular job. And so he kind of feels obligated, I guess, to help this guy. And so he does his best to kind of keep the kids away. from this sick guy. But you know, things happen and the story goes on, and that's all I'm going to say, because I think the less you know about this, the better. Yeah, it gets really, really, really crazy. I will also say that this book is incredibly graphic, very, very violent, body horror stuff. So lots of descriptions of like blood and guts and other bodily fluids and functions and things like that that are pretty grisly. So if you don't like that, you're not going to like this. And then the other kind of trigger warning that I will just mention is there are a few scenes of animal violence, animal cruelty that are pretty disturbing. Um, so, in fact, those were probably the worst, the most disturbing parts of the book were like the animals and stuff. And there was a few scenes that really bothered me. But this book was great. I really liked it. So yeah, so this is not a book for kids though. Even though it's about children, it's not a book for children. But yeah, it was really good. So yeah, like I said, Nick Cutter, his writing style was really great. The story just pulled me along, and I couldn't stop reading it. I was really invested in what was going to happen. The villain is just, ugh, he made me so angry. He just made me so angry all the time. And yeah, which is, I think that's why I like this book so much, is because I was like so emotionally invested as well. Yeah, verge of tears a couple times. It's a heavy book. It's a lot. It's like Lord of the Flies, where these kids have to like figure out their group dynamic together in this really, really stressful situation. So it like brings out the worst in some of them, and it brings out the best in others. And like, yeah, it's a crazy book. So anyway, I highly, highly recommend The Troop by Nick Cutter. I've never read any of his other books. I've heard that The Deep is good. That's the only one that I've really heard anything else about. So if you've read any Nick Cutter books that you would recommend to me, please just comment below. That'd be awesome. Because yeah, like I said, I really like this book, and I'd be interested in reading more of his stuff. Yeah, like and subscribe if you want to keep up to date on what's going on with the channel and stuff. Like I said, I'm going to pretty much just do nothing but horror and during September and October. I've got a few vampire novels that I want to get through. I've got some other stuff, so I'll just keep you posted, and we'll just keep on rocking. But thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.